Welcome back to the Crochet Kratos, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We have a hat that's available in 3 different sizes. It says it's only 2 sizes to fit a baby and toddler, but there's actually 3. So we have a 16-inch size, an 18-inch, and a 21. And now I measured my head. I'm about 21 inches, so we can almost get up to adult size with this particular concept in order to do it. So it's a 5mm size H crochet hook. We're going to start. I'm going to go through the pattern with you just quickly, just to show you the differences of the instructions that you should be following along. Now instead of having 3 different patterns that are written, this is one pattern where the 3 sizes are available. So for the directions, the 16-inch is first, then the 18-inch is second, and then the 20-inch is third. So whenever there's instruction, you will see something like this: 16, and then 18, and then we can say 20. So it'll be written like that. So let's take a look down here. So whenever there's a difference of measurement or a difference of stitch count, you will notice that will happen. So it says row 2, repeat the piece until it's either 16 inches, that's the first one, 18 inches, that's the second, and 20 inches is the third. So whenever you have that, so if there's no instruction for changing anything, then it means that all sizes are of that particular level are the same. So let's take a look at the body. It says chain 1, work 54, 63, or 72. Again, pick the number that you are working with. What I recommend to you is what I would do, because I do lose count with this stuff, is that if I'm gonna say I'm doing the smallest size, I will circle it. So then I will then keep an eye on that. So whenever there's a decision to be made or a difference, I will just circle that. So let's take a look at this. So it says work 54, 63, 72, and then this is the finishing instruction. So this will be how many stitches are left. Again, it's the first size, second, and third. Now in this particular instruction it says chain 1, single crochet in the next 2 single crochets, bobble into the next, and repeat all the way around. So you will notice is that you're doing that instruction for all of the sizes, but at the end it's just giving you that information that you would have ended up with 18 bobbles, 21, or 24. Again, it's the different sizes, and then this is telling you how many single crochets as well. So whenever there's a difference of instruction, it will tell you that right off the bat as you're working through this idea. Let's take a look at rows 16 through 14. Repeat rows 2 to 5, another 2, 3, or 3. So again, small, medium, and large. And so we're gonna be following that today. So I'm going to be starting you off with the band. I am using a Caron Cotton Cakes as my example that I am working with today. I've already started the band and I'm gonna show you that first. So let's begin. So we're gonna be starting off with the band. I'm doing the smallest size on this project today just for speedy reasons, and if you are following the other 2 sizes, make sure that you are having the instructions close hand just in case it does a slight difference. I will talk about it as we hit it. So the first band size, remember what it said is that it was either going to be 16, 18, or 20 inches. So you want the 16 inches, the 20, or the 18 to be slightly stretched. So you don't want to just finish it off and say this is 16 inches. So you're just gonna stretch it just a little bit so that you get that play there, and that's what we're going to be doing. So let me show you how to do the band. The band width is the same for all sizes. Let's begin. So I'm beginning and I am filming with gray because you can't see white on a white background. So we're going to begin, and all sizes you're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then what you're going to do is second chain from the hook. You're gonna come on the back part of that chain. It just looks nicer. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you have 6 single crochets that are technically all the way across. So when you get to the end, turn your work, chain 1. You're not working in any back looping or anything, so just chain 1 and start single crocheting the first one, and just once in a while just check to make sure that you do have 6 single crochets that are going. And so as I have already explained to you, so you want to get either 16, 18, or 20 inches depending on the size. Make sure that it's slightly stretched when you take that measurement so that you will know that it will fit you better. So let's continue to do that. So just go back and forth, single crochet those 6 stitches across until you get to the length of the band that you would like to play with. So let's begin to do the next part of this tutorial. So we're moving on to the body next. So now that the band is done and it's slightly stretchable for me, I got the 16-inch size, that is when it's slightly stretched. Now row number 1, we have to establish our stitches that we have. So for the first size it's 54 stitches, 63 for the second, and 72, and you need to equally space those stitches out along the edge. So right where you are, you're just going to chain 1 and work the number of single crochets across. So it's either 54, 63, or 72. It may take you a few tries, but all you're just going to do is just go on the side here and start counting and just single crochet. So 1 and 2 and 3, and then continue to go all the way across and equally spaced. So you may have to put more than one stitch into a side in order to get that, or you may have to jump over a section in order to maintain that as well. So you have to make that determination, and I'm gonna leave that for you because that's just very subjective to you, because the bands could all be different rows based on your own personal tension. So please either get your 54 done, 63, or 72, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. So I've come all the way across. I did it on the first try. I'm experienced in crochet that I can do that, but if you've had to retry, that doesn't mean that's a failure at all. It just means that you just gotta try again. So we're going to go to row number 2. So you'll notice that this hat is not done in the circle, it's always done in the rows. So I just realized that too. So we're going to begin, and you're going to chain 1, and you are going to apply a single crochet into the next 2 single crochets. So the first one and the second, and then we're going to do a bobble into the next single crochet. So let's learn how to do a bobble. To do the bobble in the next stitch, I just wanted to make sure is that you're going to yarn over and you're gonna go into the next stitch, and then you're going to pull through and then pull through 2 loops and hold it. You want to do that 5 times so that you end up with 6 loops on the hook. So you're just gonna wrap and into the same one, pull through 2, and hold. And you keep doing that until you can actually see 6 loops on the hook. And here we go. Just like that, right? And so you're going to draw up all the loops and pull through everything, and then that will be your bobble. And you will notice that it will naturally pop out to the other side, which is the right side of the project. So to continue along with this one here is that it says repeat across from the asterisk. So the next 2 are single crochet. So 1 and 2, and then you're going to bobble into the next one. So yarn over, going in, pull through 2, and you keep doing that until you see 6 loops on the hook. And for all sizes you're gonna do the exact same information, and then pull through everything and then single crochet in the next 2. So please do that all the way across. The difference of the sizes that you'll have more bobbles and etc. So please do this, and I'll see you at the end of this row, row number 2. So we had to repeat the pattern going all the way across. The last one is a bobble, and that will allow us to have a nice seam line section in the back that doesn't have a gapping space of where the bobbles are appearing. So you pull through everything and you're good to go, and you'll see the bobbles here are pretty, and we're going to begin then row number 3. In row number 3 you're going to chain up 1, and you are going to place a single crochet in the top of the first bobble, and just think of everything as sets of 3. So there's a bobble, so then you know that there's 2 single crochets in a row, so 2 and 3, and so then you have a bobble, so there's 1, and then you have 2 single crochets, 2 and 3. So just in case you accidentally start adding stitches, if you keep it like that, you can do a pretty good job. I don't need to necessarily count that, but I used to at one point when I was not so familiar with this concept. So please do this all the way across, 1 single crochet in each of the stitches across. So I came to the end of row number 3. We're gonna turn our work, and this time, do you see where the bobbles are? The next time the bobbles are going to be in between the spots. So the bobbles are not like on top of each other, like lined up. They're like a brick wall, so the bobbles will be in between. Let's begin row number 4. Let's begin row number 4. You're gonna chain up 1, and you are going to then bobble into the same stitch. So just create your bobble. Okay, and then pull through everything just like you would have before. So when you do this, the bobble's already starting, so the next 2 in a row will each be a single crochet. Big shocker, right? And that takes you right up over top of the original one that was already there behind. So then it puts the bobbles just off to the side of the original. So we're going to then bobble into the next. So you notice it's not equally right in between the two bobbles because there's only 2 single crochets. So if it was 3 single crochets, you could have done that. So then you pull through everything and then single crochet the next 2. And you're gonna do that all the way across, and when you turn it around you see that it's off to the side. Let's continue to do that and I'll see you at the end of row number 4. So when I get into the very last section here of row number 4, there's only 2 single crochets after the bobble. Make sure that you maintain that so that you can see it. And then we're going to go to row number 5 and then we're gonna talk about the repeating. So row number 5 is exactly like we had in the very first in row number 3. So you're gonna chain up 1, so you'll single crochet the first 2 and then the bobble is next. So just think about it in sets of 3. So the bobble and then 2 and 3. Okay, so bobble 2 and 3. Please do that all the way across. This is row number 5. So I'm coming up to the end of row number 5. So the bobble is your last stitch in there and then you're gonna turn. So let's go back to the pattern and let's talk about the repeat because the repeat is now established. Let's begin to look at that next. So we're currently here on the pattern. So rows number 6 through 14 is showing us that we have to do a certain amount of stitches. So this means that 6 through 14 or 6 through 18, and if you really look at this, this is corresponding to the number of repeats that you will have. So it says repeat rows 2 through 5 another 2, 3 or 3 times, and that's the different sizes. So the rows 6 through 14 is the smallest size and 6 through 18 with both of these is both the 3. So I need you to repeat now rows number 2 through 5 the set number of times that you're going to be working on. So what I would think about doing is that I just write down 2, 3, 4, 5 and I wanna do it 2 times because I'm doing it twice. So I'll do that, but if you want to do it a 3rd time, like it's suggesting, just write it again. And as you check it off, just go. And then what I also do for myself is that when it's a single crochet that I don't have to really worry about it too much, I will circle it like this so that I just keep an eye. So I'm only really bobbling on 2 and 4 and just keeping an eye. So you can reverse back in this video to begin to do 2, 3, 4 and 5. So do that and I'll see you here and we'll start shaping the crown next. Now that I repeated rows number 2 through 5, you either do it 2, 3 or 3 times. Then you need to work row number 2 one more time. So we need to go back and do one more row. When I was actually reading this and I went over, I'm like, where is the bobble? So anyway, therefore work row number 2 just once, and that's for all sizes, and then we'll start the shaping of the crown next. Okay, so I'm back and I did row number 2. We're now going to move on to shaping of the crown, and before you flip out, we're going to talk about this because the crown is going to go in 3 different directions and it depends on the size. So if you're not familiar with reading patterns, I really want you to just pay attention and really look at this pattern because all of the pattern for all 3 sizes go to here, but on page number 2 you will notice is that all 3 sizes are different. And if that freaks you out, don't panic because what you're about to learn is kind of the consistency, but you will need to read the pattern for the 18 and the 20-inch sizes. So when we go to shape the crown, all 3 sizes are going to take you to row number 8, and then on page number 2 row number 9 then goes in 3 different directions, and it depends on the size you're working on. Of course the smaller sizes, the hat is much more narrow, so it doesn't take that much to get it to go small, where the bigger sizes it'll take a few extra rows. So when we go to look at this information, you're going to notice is that there's a discrepancy of the information that you see. So for example, it says chain 1 single crochet in each of the next 4, 5 or 6. So you're picking the size that you would want to do for yourself, and that's what you're going to do. So in my case it's gonna be the number 4, and then single crochet 2 together and then repeat doing that again. So you keep doing that. Row number 2 is then going to be the bobble. Here's the neat thing about the bobbles. There's no decreasing of stitches on the bobble rows. So I put it at X here. Those are the ones that I'm gonna concentrate on the decrease because the bobbles are basically following suit. So it's just like it was before when you see this information. So it says, let's do a bobble row. It says chain 1, bobble into the next single crochet. So that's the first one. So when we get a bobble here, it says chain 1, single crochet in the next 2, bobble into the next. See, it's just like it was on the body. So the difference is that there's gonna be less stitches to work with. But on page number 2 is where everybody's path is gonna go differently depending on the size you're working on. So in my case 9 and 10 are going to be the finals. So this is a really quick way to get to the end of your project. For the 18" you're going to go 9 and 10, which is going to be a slightly different count than what you have here. And again, just follow it. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet 2 together, and repeat that across. Row number 10, bobble into the first stitch, single crochet the next 2. Row number 11, chain 1, single crochet together 9 times, right? And then row number 12, single crochet the next 2 single crochet, bobble into the next, and then that's where you're gonna finish off. And then for this 20" size, again, just follow the instructions. Just check it off slowly. So these are the specific instructions. So when you look at a pattern like this, you think, oh my goodness, there's so much detail. But the fact is that if you're not worrying about the 18 or the 19, you just stroke it out. Say, I don't have to worry about that. And then you pick it back up using the tail, sew down the seam of the back of the hat. So let's start, and I'm going to kick you off then, shaping of the crown for all sizes, and then I will continue on page number 2 with the 16, but you will need to continue on your own for the 18 to 20 on page number 2 when we get there. So shaping of the crown, row number 1, you're gonna chain up 1. So it says single crochet into the next 4, 5, or 6. So that's small, medium, or large. So in my case it'll be 4. So I'll start immediately in the top of the bobble. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that would have been a difference. So it would be 5 or 6 depending on the size. And then the next 2 are together. So it's a single crochet 2 together. I haven't shown that yet. So just going into the stitch, pull through, going into the next stitch, pull through, and then pull through all of it. And that's a single crochet 2 together. So keeping with the same size that you're working on, so you'll single crochet either in the next 4, 5, or 6. In my case it's 4. And then you'll put the next 2 together. So please do this all the way across row number 1. So I'm just finishing up row number 1. If your stitch counts are right, the last stitch is 2 together. Okay, so there's no faking that at all. So that's the stitch count. So we're gonna work on row number 2. So row number 2 is the same for everybody. So you're just going to chain 1 and you're going to plop in a bobble right in the very beginning. So you already have done this before. Okay, and you're looking for those 6 loops on the hook, pull through, and then 2 single crochets in a row. Okay, so that's gonna be it going all the way across. So bobble and then 2 single crochets, bobble, 2 single crochets. This is row number 2. Coming up to the end of row number 2, there's 2 single crochets after the last bobble. That will take you to the end. So you're gonna turn your work and let's do row number 3, which is the same for everybody that we need to do, but there's a different count for everybody too. So 3, 4, and 5 stitches is before the single crochet 2 together. Let's talk about that. So in row number 3 you're gonna chain up 1, and so you're either gonna put 3 in the beginning or you're going to put 4 or 5 depending on the size. So in my case it's 3. So starting in the first one, so 1, 2, and 3, and then put 2 together. Okay, so just focus on the size you're working on. So 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 together. Please do this all the way across and in the size that you're working on. I'm finishing up row number 3 and the last are 2 together. You're gonna turn your work and let's do row number 4. So we're doing the bobbles again and it's the same count for everybody. Row number 4 we're gonna start, chain up 1 and put 1 single crochet in the first 2, and then you're gonna bobble into the next. And so then it'll be 2 and then bobble, 2 and bobble, and I need you to do that all the way across. Please do that now. I'll see you at the end of row number 4. The last stitch on row number 4 is a bobble, so just keep an eye on that. Make sure you get that in, and that will conclude row number 4. Okay, and let's turn our work and do row number 5. Row number 5 has a difference in numbers again, so we're going to chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet either in the first what do we have here, the first 2, 3 or 4 depending on the size. In my size it's only 2, so 1 and 2, and then you'll do 2 together over the next 2, and then continue to repeat that across. So it's either 2, 3 or 4, and then 2 together, and you'll do that, and I'll see you at the end of this row. And if you're keeping the right count on the end of number 5, the last one is 2 together. Turn your work and let's do row number 6. We're back to the bobbles again. Back to the bobbles, we're gonna chain 1, and it'll be a bobble into the first, and then it'll be 2, and then bobble, and then 2. You already know what you're doing at this point, so just repeat that all the way across. I'll see you at the end of this row, row number 6. So coming all the way to the end of number 6, so you'll notice that it's starting to peel in, like buckle in on the sides. That's good, because that's what we're looking for. Let's go to row number 7, turn your work, and let's review. In row number 7 we have another change of information for everybody. So you're gonna chain 1, and you're gonna single crochet either in the first stitch, 2 stitches, or 3 stitches depending on the size. So my size is just 1, and then it's going to be then 2 together over the next 2. Okay, so in my case it's just 1, but you could have 2 or 3 depending on the size you're working on. So please do this all the way across. And the last stitch coming across then is the 2 together, and then you turn your work and we'll do row number 8. So row number 8, let's review. So in row number 8 you're going to chain up 1, and you'll do 2 single crochets in a row, and then a bobble, 2 single crochets in a row, and then a bobble. Please do this all the way across row number 8. So now at the end of row number 8, so let's turn our work so you can see that it's really turning out lovely, and we're going to go to page number 2 now, where everybody is going to go off in their own direction. Please look at that next. So back onto page number 2 now. So for myself I just have 2 more rows to do, and then I'm done. For the 18th you have the 2 rows and then just 2 more, so a total of 4, and then rows number 20 you have a total of 6 rows to do before you're finished. I'm just going to go through the 16" because it matches my size, and when you're done then you can just put the things together. If you're not comfortable reading patterns, just take it slowly, just read the instruction, breathe, and calm down, right? Because I know I'm gonna get an email saying I wish you would have done a different size. So just calm down, read the pattern, and just try your best. Okay, so let's move on, and I'm gonna go to row number 9 of the 16th size. So row number 9 of the 16" size, so we're going to just chain up 1, and you were going to put the first 2 together as a 2 together, and you're gonna do that pretty much all the way across. So put the next 2 together and keep on moving. Okay, so this is row number 9. So I'm at the end of number 9 already. So everything is 2 together, and then you're gonna turn your work, and this is the final row, row number 10 for the 16" size. So final row is just chain up 1, and you're going to put a bobble into the very first one, and then the next 2 are just single crochets on their own. Okay, so please do that all the way around. So it's a bobble and 2 singles, bobble and 2 singles, and I'll see you at the end of this row. Now that I'm all the way across, this is the end of the line. I want to leave an 18" tail, and that will take me so that I can put everything together. So just pull it through, and you just need to take your time when you're sewing this together so that you don't end up with a seam that is really off-putting. So all we want to do is just kind of fold this and put the seams together, but I would literally do it and just be very cautious of it and just take your time. So grab a tapestry needle and let's try that. So just going straight across, just kind of fold it, and this is called the whip stitch, where you just go straight across and just pull in. And what I want to do is that I want to make sure that when I lay this out that the distance is still the same, going all the way down. Okay, so then I'm just going to grab it again, and then just coming on the other side and then back across. Remember that if there's a bobble on this side, it should not be a bobble on this side in order to keep the count looking good. Okay, so just work your way down. Just have some patience. So this side there's no bobble, and this side there is a bobble, so attach into the bobble when you do that one. So please go all the way down just with the whip stitch, and just check it and make sure that you're doing a good job. And I'll see you at the end of this section in just a moment. When you get to the bottom of this, that's it, and I want to just make sure that I'm securing it across and just have it so it ties itself into a knot. This is obviously the outside here because you can see the bobble, so just turn it so that you can just see the inside and just glide it through some of the stitch work on the inside. And because this is meant for a wearable, you want to make sure that it's woven in really nicely here. So you want to go a total of 3 times back and forth just within the strands in the back, so you don't see the strand doing this in the front side. And you also have the starting strand to worry about, so you want to do the same thing. Just weave it on the inside just within some strands, and then you can safely cut it. So I'll rely on you to do that, and I'll be right back in just a moment. So I have the first portion now done, so all sizes hopefully you're done as well. And when I did weave it through the back of joining it, it's almost invisible, really close. So now we're gonna focus on the ears, so you'll need 2 colors, maybe a pinkish color for the interior of the ear, and then use the same body color in order to maintain the look. So let's work on that next. So we need to do the inner ear first, so you might as well do both at the same time, and we're going to do the inner ear next. So create a slip knot, grab your hook and a different color, and let's begin. To start with, you're going to just chain a total of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Second chain from the hook, so just count it back. So 1 and 2. Grab the back hump of the chain. It's just nicer, it looks good. And then once you do that one, the next 8 in a row are each a single crochet. So let's count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and that should leave you to the last one. So I could have said just single crochet until the last one is empty, and the last one is empty, so you're gonna put 3 single crochets. So 1 into that same 1, 2, and 3, and let this turn upside down. And now you're gonna work on the beginning chain, but on the bottom side, starting right here. Put the straggler down on top, and I want you to single crochet all the way back to the very beginning. So just match it. If you go right up over top of the straggler, you won't have to cut that later. You won't have to weave it in, is what I'm saying. So there's only 9 single crochets, just in case you feel like counting. Once you put that tail under enough stitches, you can just let it fall to the outside, and you can deal with that later. And come right into the very last one. And then you're gonna turn your work and then begin the last row. So chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet the first 10 starting in the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I could have told you too, it's the middle one of the grouping of 3. That's the one there, and you're gonna put 3 single crochets there so that it will turn. And then coming down the other side, you'll single crochet all the way back to the other side. Okay, and there's a total of 10 going down that side as well. But I don't think you need to count it, just do it. And when you get to the end of this, you're going to want to weave in your ends. So just back and forth 3 times, but if you did cover over top of the beginning strand, you won't have to bother with that one. So just the last strand is where you'll have to do that, and then that's it. So I've already shown you how to weave in your your ends going back and forth 3 times, please do that, and then do both of your inner ears now. So we're now gonna do the outer ear. You can see it's solid on one side. So when you go to sew this onto the character, or onto the hat, sorry, you're gonna wanna fold this in so it does this kind of shaping. So this is what it looks like. So you'll need that inner ear to be done because you will be crocheting with this as well. So let's begin to start, and the first 2 rounds or rows are just like we started with the inner ear. Let's begin. Okay, let's begin. We're going to start with the body color of the lamb. And what we're going to do is that we're going to chain a total of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Single crochet, second chain from the hook, and now I'm gonna just summarize for you. So I want you to single crochet in each of the chains all the way except for the very final chain, and we'll put 3 single crochets there. So the advantage of tutorial work is that sometimes you can just say it in a little more easier format. A lot easier format, to be honest. Writing crochet patterns is actually not so easy. Okay, so you're gonna come in the very last chain. You wanna do your 3 single crochets. This is what we did with the inner ear. So 1, 2, 3, and let the whole project turn upside down, and then working our way across, starting right there. Just put that straggler down on top and single crochet all the way to the other side. Once you're to the other side, you're going to just turn your work and begin row number 2. So you can chain up 1 and count the first 10 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The 10th one. The next one after the 10th is the middle of the grouping of 3, so there'll be 3 single crochets there, and just keep on turning and going around it, and then just do 1 single crochet all the way to the other side. And now we need to grab our inner ear before you can continue further, so just this and let it rest, and then grab your inner ear. Make sure your tails are all done, and just lay it down on top, and you need to chain 1, and coming into the inner ear first, and then straight back to the stitch that you're supposed to be in, the very first one. And what I need you to do is that one plus so you need a total of 11, so there's already 1 already. So coming into the inner ear and to the back ear at the same time, this is 2, and we're gonna do that all the way around. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then on the next one is the very point. So in this one here, you're going to place in 3 single crochets so that it can turn. So 1, 2, and 3, and then just continue down the other side. So just matching the stitches with each other and continuing then. So this is row number 3, and we'll talk about 4 and 5 in just a moment. So just go all the way to the end of this row, and I'll be right back in just a moment. Once you get all the way to the other side, turn your work. Now rows number 4 and 5 are exactly identical. Just chain up 1, and it's just 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way. Because you're not growing on the tips will start bending forward, and that's what you want. So 4 and 5, just 1 single crochet in each, and then at the end of that, please leave on a very long tail that you can actually use that tail to sew it to the actual project itself. So please do 4 and 5 and leave a long tail, and I'll be back in just a moment. So let's cover sewing this to the hat. So it says here, refer to the photo placement for the position. So there's really just got to eye it up on your own. I counted about 4 bobbles from the top. So what I want to do is that you'll notice that these pieces here go forward. So it's almost like it's folded to my point of view. It's folded and it's sewn in between a section of the baubles. So what I would think about doing if I were you is just literally kind of fold it and then just grab some pins. Just grab a pin and see if that's pretty much where you would like to actually put it. And just kind of eye it up at one side. So make sure it's not too high and it's not too low either, and that's just something that you can decide for yourself on where you'd like to put it. So I'm gonna try to position this now and I'll be right back in just a moment. So once I'm satisfied with it, I would actually do one first and then reposition if you have to, and just put the tail of that onto your tapestry needle. So what I would do then is go straight directly across the project, across the ear itself, to kind of bring the ear together first, and kind of folding it, just kind of work yourself in between the baubles itself. So what I like to do when I sew things in is that I like to go in and just stay on the one side. So I'm gonna concentrate on the stitch work on this side, and I'm gonna rotate right around so that I can get that into position quite nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. This is called whip stitching. So I'm only focusing on trying to grab the gray so that it will hide that pink as we go. So I want to fold this so that it's going in between that grouping of the baubles. Some people just don't like sewing, so they kind of cheapen up on the concept of not putting it down, putting enough stitches in for making it secure, so you want to consider that. Okay, I'm going all the way around. So I guess I'm gonna be satisfied where this is gonna go, and so once I have this one done, I'm just gonna position the other one, just check it and move it if I have to in order to have the balance. The problem with crochet or sewing with the same color body, if you make a mistake, it's kind of hard to see which stitches are actually the sewing and what's not. Okay, and I want to come in and pull that down. Okay, so I've gone all the way around the back. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna tie it off here. So I'm just gonna go back and forth a few times. And if you want to tie a knot and do that back and forth, you can too, if that makes you more secure, and you may want to do that anyway. So you can see I was pretty generous going back and forth. So the one's in, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the other side, but I'm gonna check where it is, and I can see that this is higher than this one, so I'm gonna move this one and adjust, and then that should be it. So I'll leave the second one for you, and I'll be back in just a moment. So this is the end of the journey. This is the Sweet Lamb crochet hat. Isn't it sweet? It's pretty awesome, right? So this is it, and I hope you have a good one and you've enjoyed today's project. Please let me know in the comments below. Have a good one, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.